Hello, everybody. So I was setting up my camera and stuff like that, and I noticed that my selfie stick, that my fancy selfie stick that my roommate got me for my birthday this year, hanging from my altar like that, it looks like those men's chonies, those men's underwear. They have the the sleeve that the dick goes into. Yeah, I noticed that. I just wanted to point, and it's not undies, it's a selfie stick holder. So I don't have men's underwear hanging from my altar usually it has happened, but not today. So I am Mickey. I am not your mama's minister, and today we're going to be talking about, because it is her feast day, Saint Dymphna. And we're not really going to be talking about her so much as her patronage of mental illness. She is known as one of the primary and most powerful patron saints, of official saint even, of mental illness. So, but that's specifically what I wanted to talk about. And if you want to do some work with her, she's incredibly easy to work with. And, there's no offerings that you need to make. It is primarily that she is just a helper as you are recovering from or dealing with, learning to live with specific mental illnesses, or any mental illness, actually. So if you want to know about her hagiography, sorry about that, feel free to go ahead and research her. Not only do the Catholic sites have information on her, but there are also pagan sites that have information on her as well. So enjoy. She's a pretty cool saint. So, sorry. So then, mental illness. So way back when, and the reason I wanted to address mental illness is because of the history of mental illness. Because, as many of you know, mental illness was often seen as possession, spiritual possession. Something was wrong with you spiritually. Somebody had put a curse on you. In fact, I was super excited to see the episode of American Gods prior to Matt Sweeney dying. And I'm sorry, that's a spoiler. Was I supposed to not say that? I'll try to remember to put that there's a spoiler in there, but if you didn't know that, I'm so sorry. Really sorry. I know not everybody likes spoilers like I do. But anyway, the episode before that was all about Matt Sweeney, and it's American Gods, if I didn't say the show. And so it showed that what Matt Sweeney was going through was because Odin, or Wednesday, Mr. Wednesday, had put a curse on him to drive him mad. And so, or somebody had put, he wasn't sure who had, but it was like this. Yeah, anyway, watch it. It's awesome. And so, oh, by the way, if I haven't said it before, I completely, wholeheartedly believe that Neil Gaiman, I don't know how you pronounce it, but I wholeheartedly believe that he is one of the many prophets of the world, because a lot of his writing is the same kind of stuff that I see when I'm doing readings and stuff like that. So that's my thought. He'd probably disagree with me, but yeah. Anyway, so a lot of artists actually do get messages as they're doing their art. They just don't know it. Yay, muses. And so what was I talking about? Oh, so anyway, they were talking about that they had put this curse on him, and so it had driven him mad. And so, throughout history, people with mental illnesses, or, shit misfiring in the brain, or just differently firing, because there are a lot of things that are diagnosed as mental illness that I don't necessarily see as mental illness. I think that we're all just really super duper different from each other. Yay! And so in the past, it was treated with very violent and horrific treatments. And even today, it is somewhat treated like, just, you're not part of our community because there is something wrong. You don't act like us, or you don't think like us, that kind of thing. And that's incredibly sad. It's incredibly detrimental, not only to the person with the mental illness, but also to their community, because the community is missing out. And we've talked about this before. the connection between the spirits, the connection between the souls, the connection between everything living. And so we are missing out on what that person with mental illness has to teach us. What is that person saying? How is that person thinking? How is that person feeling? Could all be new and expansive information and gifts to our community. And yet we're like, let's shut you down, whether it's medically, whether it's a lobotomy, whether it is just putting you away. And so I know that when I started seeing a behaviorist, which as far as I'm concerned, I still call her my shrink. And so when I started seeing my shrink, I was talking to her about madness, and she of course knows what I believe in, everything like that. But I was talking to her about madness, and she said, but the thing about it is that in the psychiatric community and in the mental health community, we have come to understand that unless somebody is hurting themselves or others, then we kind of take a step back and say, so how do you learn how to live? By thinking in a different way, in a different manner, or feeling in a different way, different manner with your community to which you belong. And so I was like, oh my fucking God, that's awesome. So, by the way, I love her. And so, that's really, really important that we recognize that people with mental illnesses, first of all, if we're going to go ahead and say people have mental illnesses, we probably all do. We could probably all be diagnosed with something. And so when you realize that even connects you more. Oh, wow. I know that I am extremely neurotic about cleaning. I have to clean something every day unless I'm feeling lousy, and then I don't do anything. And so I know that I'm absolutely crazy about cleaning. And so I then recognize somebody else who has an obsessive disorder or a compulsive disorder. And so it's that kind of thing. And so it's that connection again. Now, when you were talking about treatments for mental illness, there are so many different treatments that can work, that do work. But if you are suffering from mental illness, or that you suspect you're suffering from mental illness, don't just stop with one thing. And another thing is, spirituality handles ailments of the soul, of life in general. And yes, it can be very helpful when it comes to physical and mental and emotional health, but it's not the end all be all. Part of the problem that I had with the way that they dealt with the pedophilia in that huge, gigantic family that's on TV was, I actually don't know their names, but the biggest issue that I had with that was the fact that they thought taking him to a church and spiritual recovery camp, or whatever it was that they sent him to, that was going to deal with what is an actual mental illness. Pedophilia is a mental illness. And so by handling it just spiritually and not therapeutically, not medically, not legally, all of those things contributed to, there are going to be issues later on, especially because it was so public. Because there's no getting away from that. Their grandchildren, their grandchildren's grandchildren are going to know about what he did. And so, and what the family did as a whole to deal with it. The fact that they didn't deal with it. The fact that they didn't do everything that they possibly could, not just to help the girls heal, but also to help him heal, so that it doesn't happen again, so that he is a better person, so that he is a better human and better connected. And so that's the thing, is that it's fine to deal with petitioning Saint Dymphna to help with recovery or treatment or just learning how to live with mental illness, but you also need to make sure that you're handling it in every way possible. So if you are not feeling better with one type of treatment, then go with another one. If you don't like one doctor you deal with, then you go try another one. That's the way that it works. But you have to be in control of your mental health, because your mental health is such a big part of being human. And so, spiritually speaking, you want all of that to be working together. We want to be whole. And so when you are not whole, and that includes learning to live with the different ways that our brains work. And so when you don't do anything to learn how to live like you, then you're giving up. You're basically saying, I don't want to be a whole human. I don't want to know how to deal with this and know how to live within my community and still be myself. I don't want to deal with it. I don't want to admit to it and stuff like that. You leave out a big chunk of who you are, and you're awesome. You're amazing. So why would you want to leave out a big chunk of who you are? That's like leaving out the fucking ears off of a Peep bunny. I eat those ears first. Come on. I'm not saying I'm going to eat you, of course, or your brain. So I think that's it. Saint Dymphna, patron saint of mental illness amongst other patronages. And much love, many blessings. And don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and comment. And I will talk to you soon.